it saved my soul. And then I started seeing patients be happier. I started seeing my partners be happier because, they'd come by. Maybe I'm strumming a little song in the chemo room. In the chemo room, I do like a little improv song.
And welcome back to another episode of the Thrive State podcast. And today I wanted really to open up the show by saying thank you and that I am so grateful for your listenership. I enjoy that you and I get to go on a journey every week together to find out more about ourselves, our health, and our ability to show up as the very best version of ourselves. Now, I am so excited for you to meet my next guest because he's a dear friend. I met him a couple years ago when there was a mastermind of people in healthcare who were bringing together the power of media and entertainment to send a message of health consciousness that elevates people's health in the world. He is a very good friend. He's appeared on America's Got Talent as well as been on TV tons and tons of time. You'll see just why we're such good friends because we bond together. We have such good energy together, and you'll feel his energy. You'll feel how funny this guy is today. He's none other than Steven Eisenberg. Dr. Steven Eisenberg co-founded C-Care, which is California's largest medical oncology practice. He is dubbed the CEO of C-Care, which stands for Chief Empathy Officer. His research publications include articles on novel therapies for cancer, and his special interests are breast cancer, cancer prevention, patient engagement, and new healthcare technologies. He's one of the first graduates of FutureMed at NASA Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley. Building upon his expertise in healthcare technology, he joined the faculty of Singularity University's Exponential Medicine program and joined the ranks of the world's top medical innovators. He's had numerous hospital Best Bedside Manner wins as he was the first recipient of the Dr. Emanuel Fliegelman Humanitarian Award for doctor exhibiting highly compassionate care during residency. After graduating from Singularity University, he co-founded Workup Inc., a startup in the oral cancer treatment adherence space for which he serves as chief medical officer. Also known as the singing oncologist, which is why I love this guy, Dr. Eisenberg co-writes songs with amazing individuals living with cancers through Lyrical Life, a passion project of his that was featured on NBC's Today Show. Steven hosts the top outlet for health information, innovation, and inspiration called The Dr. Steven Show, which I was actually a guest on. His guests include, A-list healthcare luminaries, thought leaders on the future of medicine, and celebrity health and wellness trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have lots of fun, so fasten your seatbelts for Dr. Steven Eisenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Steven Eisenberg in the house. Welcome to the Thrive State podcast, brother.
Hey, man. Kien, thanks for having me, man. This is such a pleasure.
It's such a joy. The two of us met at a mutual friend who knows a lot of people in the health community and brought us together because we are two physicians that don't mind embarrassing ourselves and putting ourselves out there and being in media together.
I've certainly done my share of that, man. I think that's part of connection, the vulnerability, that you're human. We're all human, right? We're all patients. We've all been a patient when we were born. We're all going to be a patient when end of life comes around. We've all had our hiccups. We're human beings who are on this journey together. And I think when you're vulnerable and you put yourself out there, I write these songs for my patients going through chemo. And, I'm not a professional singer. I wouldn't make it on The Voice. But it's not about that. It's about the human connection that is just so vital that we've seen through this pandemic. Technology's brought us together when we couldn't be, but we also miss that face-to-face, that hand on the shoulder. My little old ladies who go, "Where's my hug?" That's that they I have at least 50 ladies Where's my hug? The only reason I come in, you tell me my labs are normal every time, but where's my hug?
Ah, there you go.
And it's
That's
great.
your secret weapon. That, hugs are a really good medicine. I mean, it increases oxytocin, which brings down, high blood pressure. It's good for our digestion. So hugs are great. Now,
Yes.
if you guys haven't already, and if you want to get a feel for the guests that we have on right now, I want you to pause the video and watch Dr. Steven Eisenberg on America's Got Talent. All right. So we're going to do something a little bit different at the start of the show, and we'll get to that in a second. But what I want to ask you is, tell us about how that happened. I mean, you auditioned, like you were saying. Did you expect to win, or did you have the expectation of going there and just sharing you and sharing fun?
The latter. It was a complete surprise. One day I come into my office and there's a note. I'm like, oh, a hospital consult. Great. And no, it was a producer from AGT called. Please call back. So I guess this producer had seen the Today Show bit that on the songs that I write for the patients. And she said, I found you because I was exploring doctors that make a difference in cancer, something like that. And she thought it was a good story. And so they invited me to come on basically without even auditioning, because they liked the story. So they gave me like this VIP treatment, so to speak. I didn't have to wait in line or I was sort of shuttled to the front, and they liked the story, and then I brought my mom along because I'm like, I want to make this sort of funny. So during the audition, I had her interrupt me halfway through and go, Stevie, you forgot your white coat. How are they going to know you're a doctor? And I made the producers laugh. But I had this whole, when I went in, I did AGT, easy as 1, 2, 3. I did the Jackson 5
Mhm.
AGT. And the first thing they said was, we love that, but guess what? You can't do that on the show. We can't do any Michael Jackson 5 songs. So it had to be an original song. But I did it for the fun and to get the message out that I wanted to get the word out that doctors and patients, you can break down the wall and they can have fun together, and you can be a family, you can be a friend, you can be a co-conspirator in creativity. And so that was the main thrust. And I couldn't really bring a patient with me because of HIPAA laws and
Yeah.
everything. It would have been too dangerous. And so I wrote an original song about my overbearing Jewish mother, and
You
it
guys
bombed.
definitely need to watch this. All right.
It immediately got 4 X's, but that wasn't the point. The point was the fun. It was all planned ahead of time. We knew it was going to be voted off. I said, Mom, when they start voting me off, come out and yell at Simon. It'll be funny. And it was crazy. People called me, either there was two camps. Either they loved it and went, that was brilliant. I mean, who goes on there and sings a song about their overbearing Jewish mother as a or people called me mortified for me. Like, I feel so bad for you. They were so mean. But they didn't get, those people didn't get, we were all sort of in on it, you know?
Yeah, right, right.
And they produced the heck out of me. I had another song that was ready to go. It was about the judges. It was ribbing the judges. And it was, Simon doesn't mean to be rude. Howie's a don't touch dude. Heidi's on the runway twirl. Mel B's a scary Spice Girl. America's gotta feel better starting right now. Because America was so, sick at the
Right.
time. And so I wrote that song, but they're like, my producer comes in like 5 minutes before I'm about to. The head of NBC just texted me. They really want you to do the mom song. They're all in on the mom song. And so they definitely got what they wanted out of me. So, that's how sort of TV works.
This is great. I encourage everybody listening to this podcast, go to YouTube, look up America's Got Talent, Dr. Steven Eisenberg. You'll see this. You'll get to see what a lighthearted person he is. I mean, he is the new author of an already best-selling book that's not even out yet. Love is the Strongest Medicine. I definitely recommend everybody pre-order your copy now. And we're going to dive into it. But I just wanted to let you know the energy and the levity that you see in this doctor. In fact, we're going to go on a little bit deeper into the fun and levity by asking you 5 questions, the fast 5. And some of these questions may or may not lead to additional questions later on down the line. But that's just to keep the energy and the flow of the show going. Are you ready, Stephen?
I am ready.
5 questions, 100 points each. I determine whether the answers are right or wrong, and I am the ultimate judge. And of course, if you get them all right, you win a date with me. Question number 1, Dr. Steven Eisenberg, what has been your most embarrassing moment? They're supposed to be quick, under 10 seconds each answer.
Okay. I was going to say HET, but there's something better. I was an intern, and it was 3:00 in the morning, and I was starving. I was called to go see a patient, and I saw an Ensure Plus up on the top of this fridge. I'm like, I gotta get that Ensure Plus chocolate. I reached up for it. Little did I know it was already open. Poured it on my own head. So at 3 in the morning, I'm covered head to toe in Ensure Plus. So I go out to the nurse's station, and they're all laughing at me because I was stealing the patient's Ensure Plus that was half drunk, but I spilled it all over my head.
The Ensure shower. Okay.
Ensure Plus shower.
100 points for that one. Question number 2, your favorite movie?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. All right.
Groundhog Day, because I just love the message that, you have to just keep trying. You got to keep trying those little steps each day to get to the place you want.
That's right. Get rid of the routine and consciously live your life. A big part of the Thrive State podcast. 105 points for that one. Number 3, the best memory you have as a doctor.
I think it was dancing in Flavy's hospital room. It's in the book.
We're going to talk about that. So Flavy. Okay.
Flavy's dance in the hospital room. She was the one who first took my vicious cycle of burnout and started turning it around to the virtuous cycle of love.
Ooh, yeah. So this is the crux of our conversation today. So we're going to get back to that. The next question to you is, what are you most proud of?
The Dr. Manny Fliegelman Compassion Award. It was in med school. It went to the resident or the student or resident, I think, that showed the most compassion during their training. And he was such a great guy. He was this jovial OBGYN with a huge gray beard. And real quick, the first day of med school, he pointed to the doors. He was the first one to speak. And he said, if anyone here does not believe in compassion, there are the doors. And we're all just love this guy. So he was a beacon of compassion.
250 points for that one, because we get to go back to it a little bit later on in the interview. Last question, how did you meet your wife?
I'm in the ER doing a rotation, Germantown Hospital in Philadelphia. I meet this wonderful PA who's also working in the ER named Siona. She brings in her wedding album. She had just gotten married. She brings in her wedding album because she wants to sort of, fix me up. So page 2 is my wife, Julie, and the bride, Siona. And I go, who's that? She goes, oh, no, not that one. Page 7, I want you to meet this one. I said, no, take me back to page 2. Who's that? Well, she's got this on again, off again, relay. I don't know if she's right for you. I go, get her on the phone for me. So I saw her picture, and instantly a higher power inside of me said, find that woman and marry that woman.
Amazing.
And here we are 20 years later, 3 kids later. It
That's
worked
beautiful.
out. It worked out. I saw something moved inside of me when I saw her picture on the wedding album, and it worked out.
Oh, that's beautiful. I am so glad we got to see a little bit more of this 360 version of Dr. Steven Eisenberg. I love you, as like a soul brother because you are in the
Love
deep
you
the
more.
trenches in medicine. You've gone through some of the burnout. We'll talk about all this stuff, and then you have such a beautiful message to share in your new book, Love is the Strongest Medicine. We're going to go through all of that. But first off, I kind of want to know how you ended up choosing medicine. And as I remember, you've told me once before, and you also mentioned in your book, there was an incident you had back at the age of 13.
Yeah, yeah. Horrible bike accident. Going down, and a car hit me head on. I bashed through the windshield. I was basically a goner on the pavement, bleeding, brain swelling more by the moment, brain edema. They had to sew me back up, fix multiple bones, but I wasn't wearing a helmet because it was 1983. And my brain was just getting more and more swollen that first night in the ICU. And they called my parents, said, we were losing him. I lost the ability to breathe. And it was it, it was sort of it. And eventually they did bring me back, and I had this near death experience, and I got a second chance at life. I didn't really know how intense it was until like a month later when I got out of the hospital. My dad sat me down. He said they called us that first night, and we thought we were going to lose you. And I was just a kid, right? But I had this experience of this that life is fragile, that it's so precious. And I wanted to now I just remember thinking, no regrets, no regrets, no regrets, second chance, no regrets, even as a little kid. And back then it was like, ask the girl out that I thought was pretty, don't say woulda, shoulda, coulda. And maybe I asked out a few girls that were out of my league or whatnot and got turned down. But but it taught me that you don't get what you want unless you take a chance.
Mm,
I became this chance taker and this rule breaker, I guess. And that's why when I finally decided, am I going to go to med school, or am I going to try to get on Broadway or do something in the entertainment field? I, Laughter and music were my two big things. I said, what if I could combine them? What if
mm,
I could bring laughter and music to people who need it the most? Because I got so into the mind body connection
yeah.
in college. And I thought, I started studying Eastern philosophy and yoga and meditation. And it all came together. I'm like, wait, music, laughter, thoughts, feelings, emotions, it's all in Thrive State. It's all
Yeah.
connected. It's all connected. And I thought, what if I could combine all of this? And then oncology made sense because it was like, who's the most scared? Who's the most at risk? Who needs a little light and laughter and love in the world of medicine? And that's what drove me to oncology. The science was fascinating, but it was the human side of cancer. It's the human side of cancer that drew me to the field. And the biology and the immunotherapy, everything's so fascinating now. As you know, you're an
Mm.
interventional radiologist in the field. It's the human side of cancer that I fell in love with. And that's what this book is. It's that we're all human, we're all connected. It's not doctor versus patient. There's so much, there's so much, oh, I hate my doctor. Doctors are getting burned out. Patients are not happy with their doctors, with healthcare. I'm on a mission to heal that, as you are. And it's that coming together, it's the connection. The love is laughter and light and connection. That's love. and communicating from your heart as you do. Your social media, everything you put out comes from love. And that's why when I met you the first time with Michael Fishman, I fell in love with you as a soul brother because you got it. You got that medicine is not just pills and surgery and biopsies and chemo and prescriptions. It's
That's
so
right.
much more. It's so much more. This book is just the beginning of what is that more. And that's why doctors are getting burned out. They forgot why they became doctors. We die in the red tape. We die from the medical records. More doctors are dying now. More doctors kill themselves. The suicide rate is higher amongst doctors. Female doctors even more. Primary care, ER, internal medicine,
Yep.
frontline doctors, higher suicide rate. The burnout is crazy, and COVID just made it worse.
Yeah, let me ask you a little bit deeper. Let's go back into your story of burnout. We know why you went to medical school. I mean, I still want to go back and ask a little bit about Uncle Manny, but since you brought up the issue of burnout, I mean, certainly 5 years ago when I was overweight, diabetic, hypertensive, and on prescription meds, I was in that camp as well, which is why I feel like our stories parallel each other. Tell me about your experience with burnout. What do you think contributed to your burnout? And go ahead and tell us the story about how you came out of it.
It was perfectionism. Here I was, I finished the fellowship, and that was stressful as anything. Georgetown, very, 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 very competitive, very, very difficult fellowship, but it prepared me. But what it didn't prepare me for was life in private practice. I they wanted me to stay on in academics, but I wanted to be out there with patients. So I threw my wife and I threw a dart on a map, and it landed in Southern California. So we ended up out here, joined a practice. But here I was, this guy who wanted to bring love and light and laughter to oncology. But now my task was to win, to be a winner in the world of oncology. And what does that mean when you're first coming out? It means build a practice, be successful, make the practice look great, get the patients in, become the best. You get the patients over your competition. You are the best oncologist. You
See as
have
many patients as you can. Let's
see as
shut them up
many as you
through.
can,
Yep.
see them quicker, see them better, see them faster, have the perfect notes, the perfect outcomes, the perfect. My guitar was gathering dust, and who I wanted to be, my vision was fading,
Yeah.
and the stress started creeping in, and it compounded, and all of a sudden I'm getting migraines, and I'm competing harder. And all of a sudden, I'm getting irritable bowel syndrome, and I'm competing harder. And all of a sudden, I'm not sleeping as well.
Yep.
And the migraines are worse. And now the neck hurts, and I'm getting fibromyalgia, and I'm not working out, and I'm not meditating. I hadn't learned TM yet. And the vicious cycle is piling on and piling on, and I'm tied up in knots going on my rounds. I'm tied up in knots going on my rounds, trying to look like the doctor who has it all together and is still. I could still act. I'm a good actor. I could still
Yep.
look okay,
Yeah.
but I wasn't. I'd come home and I would be a mess, and I couldn't be present with my family, my wife and my two beautiful girls. They were like 5 and 4.
Yeah.
And it was this one moment. I'm doing rounds in the midst of this burnout.
Now, before you go there,
Yes.
I just want to
Yes.
reiterate, this is my story as well, chasing success and then eventually getting symptoms. The Dalai Lama had that quote, he found most interesting man because he would sacrifice his health in order to make money and then sacrifice his money to recuperate his health. And there's so many of us, that are not in the field of medicine, that is chasing this external thing of success. And in the meantime, suffer what you and I both did, which was just chasing this thing outside of us, not taking care of ourselves, and then symptoms come on. So
Yep.
that's a story I know that so many people could resonate with.
Learn
And
from us. Learn
yeah,
from us.
yes. And then you were given the gift of one moment that you were just about to talk about.
Yeah.
This episode of the Thrive State podcast is brought to you by Thrive State MD Immunity Supplement. I actually developed this supplement at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. As some of you may know, I'm a frontline healthcare worker and have worked directly with COVID-19 patients. Some of you may also know that during that time, my fiance was pregnant with my daughter. I had a bonus daughter at home, and I also had elderly parents I needed to protect. I wanted to serve my patients at the highest level while making sure that the people around me were safe. And I couldn't find a product that was out there that actually had quality ingredients at meaningful dosages that would keep my immune system operating at its optimal form. I ended up having to buy supplements from multiple different sources to get the right quality, the right quantity, and the right formulation of an immune product I know would keep me safe. And while I never got sick using that formulation, it costed me hundreds and hundreds of dollars. The Thrive State Immunity Formula is a premium immune formula designed to enhance the body's own natural immune defenses. It is a unique blend of well-researched vitamins, minerals, and medicinal mushrooms, including vitamin C and D3, zinc, quercetin, astragalus, cordyceps, reishi, turkey tail, and beta-glucan. Kaya is now born. She's 2 months old as of the time of this recording. I'm still continuing to serve by treating COVID-19 patients, and I feel really confident about my immune system, applying the techniques outlined in my book, Thrive State, and taking the Thrive State MD Immunity Supplement. If you haven't already, pick up my book at thrivestatebook.com. And if you would like an immunity supplement of your own, the listeners of the Thrive State podcast get 20% off by using the code THRIVE20. Remember, you are your best medicine. Now let's get back to the episode.
There was a little perfect storm that happened. It was the first real thing that got me down this road of, love, right? Love. What does love mean? It means loving yourself, loving others, as treating your neighbor as you would treat yourself, but having self-compassion. Around this time, one of my favorite musical artists, Peter Himmelman, shout out Peter, had a songwriting contest, a story contest rather. How has Peter's music moved you or touched you in some way? So I wrote a story. I wrote a quick story about how in the middle of those nights when if I wasn't pouring Ensure on my own head, I would listen to the song, his beautiful song, Mission of My Soul. We'll link it here. Mission of My Soul, Peter Hill. Beautiful song. It would get me through those hard nights because it was about service and mission of my soul. So I wrote a mission of my medicine story. And the winner of the contest had a song written for you. So I won the contest and Peter wrote a song about me. And so I have this song and I'm starting to listen to the words in the song and I'm starting to realize maybe I've been doing it all wrong. Maybe I can do the bring the love and the light and the compassion and everything I dreamed of in oncology. Maybe I can reinvent that for myself. So I'm rounding in the midst of all of this, and this beautiful woman who's 80 years old, Flavie, she's dying of stage 4 lung cancer. She's in the hospital with pneumonia, complications of chemo. I walk in. How you doing today, Flavie? You doing okay? Yeah, I'm all right. But how are you? Because I gotta tell you, Dr. E, you look like shit. And
That's exactly what a smoker sounds like too.
Yeah, she called me on it. She never stopped smoking. She called me on it. And I said, no, I lied to her. I said, I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah, I was fine, right? Frustrated, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. I was fine.
Yeah.
And she said to me, how are you going to take care of all of us if you can't take care of yourself? And she was a dancer in her previous life. And she said, come here. It's obviously pre-COVID. She said, come here. Let's have a dance. And in the middle of the hospital room, I'm doing a little dance with Flavie, and just because she knew I needed some compassion, she was the one who gave me compassion
Yeah.
and taught me how I could get back on the road of giving myself compassion, self-love, self-compassion, and start to realize I wasn't who I said I was going to be for the world of oncology. And I had to give up the perfectionism and to make it break myself down until I made it. No, I had to build myself back up using love and meditation and yoga and really taking on my burnout and decreasing the stress. The stress was literally killing me. The pinnacle of it was I got an aggressive skin cancer right over my heart, right
Oh, wow.
here. Here's the scar, right here. And big surgery to remove it. And that was the pinnacle. The oncologist gets an aggressive skin cancer because my immune system was so low.
Yeah.
And
So a lot
that
of that
that
healing occurred not with any, I mean, yes, you got surgery to get it out there, but a lot of the underlying processes, the energetics that drove the cancer was actually, a lot of lifestyle, right?
yes,
And it
yes.
sounds like the emotion of love played a deep part and role in part of that healing.
It played the biggest part because it was the love that I began to experience from the patients. And when I would write these songs, it was after I got the song from Peter and the Flavie experience that I said, you know what? I got to start writing songs for patients because it nudged me. It nudged me back to who I was. Hearing my life in that 2.5 minute little ditty that Peter wrote for me, it nudged me. It's what I needed to take a really hard look at what wasn't working and how far I'd gone down the stress black hole. And stress made everything worse. I couldn't
Yep.
sleep, migraines, everything was worse. I ended up in the ER with this horrible migraine. My tongue was numb. I thought I was having a stroke. It was an atypical migraine. It
Mm,
wasn't a stroke. But can you imagine? I'm trying to see patients and I'm stroking out in the office because of the stress. Stroking out, I thought it
yeah.
was, but it was an atypical migraine from stress. I was just one big bundle of perfectionism and winning. And I had to turn it around. How did I do it? Tiny little steps. It wasn't overnight. It
Yeah.
wasn't overnight, but it's all gone now. It's all gone now. That was like, God, when was that? 10 years ago now. It's all gone. And it was tiny little steps.
Yeah.
I went and I learned TM was one big thing I did.
TM, for those who don't know, is transcendental meditation.
Yeah. And you learn a mantra and like Seinfeld does it, Howard Stern does it, all these, you know,
Yeah, Stephen
Paul
Eisenberg does it.
McCartney, Paul
All the time.
McCartney, Eisenberg, Vu, do you do TM?
No, I do different forms of meditation and breath work. I've yet to try that, but
I like
but
it.
but since all the stars are doing
Yeah.
it, like Eisenberg, I should give it a try.
I I particularly tried it because of like listening to Howard Stern and the way he would say it's so easy. And I'd researched it and it's a very easy technique. And so I wanted something easy and that I could do. I would do it. I would do it in the morning and then when I got home at night, I would stay in my car for an extra 20 minutes. I'd say, honey, I'd text my wife, honey, I'm in the car. I got to do this meditation before I come in. And she'd get a little mad, but she would let me do it because you have to
you
do
would
it.
you would show up differently, right? Before, I mean, if you didn't actually get a chance to ground yourself, and you bring your energy from seeing patients all day into your home, you'd be a different person, walking
Yes.
through that door. So
Yes.
that was TM one of sort of your first modalities in that road of healing?
One of the first modalities for sure. And it was the consistency. I really followed it to the T, twice a day, 20 minutes twice a day. And they say you can feel some of the stress start to melting. And my body went through some crazy stuff. You'd be in a meditation and you'd feel like this little shock, and
Wow.
my muscles started to relax, and the migraines went away, and slowly but surely, and then the virtual cycle starts. The diet gets better, the sleep gets better.
Yeah.
I was working out, but a big part of it was also when I would write the songs for the patients. My life changed.
Yeah.
It was no longer about seeing patients every 15 minutes. It was more about, of course, get all of the best medical stuff done, but then talk to a patient like I would talk to my aunt or my uncle and get to know them. You know, I would ask them, what's your favorite song? And we'd sit down and we'd put on Spotify and we'd listen to the song together. I'd say, what's your favorite Seinfeld episode? And we'd watch 2 minutes of Seinfeld together. It was starting to break down the wall between doctor and patient that I thought I needed to be the best and to keep moving and to build the number one practice. It wasn't about that anymore. It was about connection.
That's beautiful. I mean,
Connection at all costs.
yeah.
Not winning at all costs. It turned into connection at all costs. It was a combination of things. And I think part of the burnout is when we become disconnected from why we became doctors.
Yeah. You bring up so many jewels here, because I wanted to just remind everybody, as you read in Thrive State, and as you'll know when you read Love is the Strongest Medicine, we have all these energies that actually affect our health, that actually talk to ourselves on a moment to moment basis. I mean, Dr. Eisenberg just said, the stress. He did said the power and the medicine of community, and true connection. We talk about that in Thrive State as well.
I
And
needed that book back then.
yeah. And I love what you remind people, that it's just going to start with little tiny steps. If you just do one thing that puts you in this new mode, energetically, it's going to shift things around that makes the other things easier. For you, it was transcendental meditation plus connection, and then all of a sudden you were sleeping better, you were eating better, right? It becomes that
Yes.
virtuous cycle.
Yes, it started to break the cycle. And God, I was in that vicious cycle for a long, it was maybe a year, maybe over a year. And slowly it started to, first it just stops, right? It's just sort of stopped and then just slowly started going virtuous, a little by little.
Yeah.
More songs, more. I'd start going to their homes and we'd have a little celebration of life because
Yes.
someone finished their chemo, and hugging and dancing with my little old ladies at the I would do, because Flavie taught me the power of the dance. So now I'm dancing and spinning Ethel in the exam room at the end of the visit and
Wow.
hugging. And when I'm hugging, like you talk about, your endorphins are firing when you're hugging.
Yeah.
And it became connection at all costs, through
Yeah.
song, through love, through laughter. It saved my soul. And then I started seeing patients be happier. I started seeing my partners be happier. because they'd come by. Maybe I'm strumming a little song in the chemo room. In the chemo room, I do like a little improv
Hmm.
song, you know. But the songwriting sessions are the one-on-ones where I get into your life. How did you grow up, Kien? Tell me about when you came over from Vietnam, and then it all becomes a song.
Oh, wow.
And I could
Can't
write
wait
a
to
do
listen to
I could
mine,
write a
brother.
doozy. I could write a doozy about you. I think I might do that. I think I might do that
That's
just
beautiful.
because I love you so much.
One of the things that I just noticed from what you talked about is once you start tapping into your own joy, your own methods of connecting with gratitude, once you start, to fire off those positive emotions, it becomes that ripple effect. And that energy just doesn't just radiate out of you and stay, isolated. It radiates out of you and it affects your entire surroundings. So we can be very responsible for the energy we put out in the world when we can, you know, look at our own energy and say, hey, what am I putting out there? And it sounds like once you started tapping into your own joy, your patients, your partners, everybody else that you were working with in your vicinity benefited from that as well.
Yeah, it's that ripple effect. It's like, let's have 1 million people meditate on love around the world to send out those vibrations. And it's not hokey. Your energy does affect the world around you. We're getting into quantum physics here, but we're
Yeah.
more empty space than we are solid.
Right.
This is just atoms and molecules. And here we are, where I'm in SD and you're in LA, but I'm so connected to you. And I feel your energy even when we're not doing Thrive State podcast. I feel your energy when I see your Instagram. I feel your energy when I just close my eyes and I'm in a meditation and you pop into my mind. It's that smile. The energy is everywhere. And love is the energy. It's just, you could call it energy is the best medicine. You could call it laughter is the best medicine. But love to me is that connection. And it doesn't have to be mute. It doesn't have to be writing songs. It doesn't have to be doing stand up. It can be whatever moves you, however you
Yeah.
share your soul with another human being. And don't judge and hate. When you can be vulnerable and lead with love, when you're a doctor, when you're a lawyer, when you're in any field, leading with love heals.
Oh, that's so
There's
beautiful.
so much hate in the world. And I love you. And I just want people to know that, it's a choice, right? I created this thing called the love over fear formula. And love's on the top and fear's on the bottom. And if you can push yourself up to the top of the formula. And how do you do that? So love is listen, observe, verbalize, empathize. Fear is force, escape, attack, and react.
I love
And
that.
so every L is over F. So if you can listen to another human being instead of force your own way, that's L over F. That's moving you up to the top part of the equation. And O, observe your own body. Observe your feelings, your emotions, instead of escape through drugs and alcohol and anger. V, verbalize from love instead of attacking and hate. That's attacking. Verbalizing from love is just expressing. And E is empathizing, getting in the other person's shoes, versus R, reacting, just reacting to the media and how you're all the programming and all the things that we've been think we have to do in this society of make wrong and making everybody wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. So it's love over fear. Listen,
That
observe,
is beautiful. Oh my gosh.
listen, listen, observe, verbalize, empathize over, and then fear. Don't force, escape, attack, and react. And each letter goes. We can put that right in the notes. It's each letter goes right over the other. So if you notice, am I listening or am I forcing? Am I observing my body or am I escaping? Am I verbalizing or am I attacking? Am I empathizing or am I reacting?
Oh my God, that is the gold right there. I'm gonna tell my team right there. That's where we're gonna do the short version of our video is love over fear. One of the things I love about love also is if we look at it like our bank account, for example, the more we use our bank account drops, right? The more we use almost any account that we have out there, that thing drops. But not the love account. The love account is this: the more we can love, the more we can love. And so the more we can love, the more our love account grows and our ability to love
Yes.
grows. So that's the beautiful thing there.
That's why you just nailed it. It fuels itself. And so that's why I think when you can tap into that, that's why it prevents burnout and helps cure the burnout because you're it fuels itself. Okay, so it compounds on itself, and in that way you're not becoming more depleted, you're becoming more energized. You're fueling why you became a doctor, and it combats the burnout. And that's why I don't think I've had burnout again, because when you do these little acts, these tiny little habits, BJ, of love, they do compound. And I think that's the key, to bring the love into your practice, love of yourself, love of your office, love of the patient. And we're all a team, right? We're all a team.
That's beautiful.
We're a team in medicine. Your health is a team. It's you. You're the CEO of your own health, right? But your doctors, a quarterback, your office managers, your line coach. It's a team approach. And then there's the meditation. That's part of the team. Your meditation teacher, your yoga teacher, your online health instructor. They're all as vital as your doctor. So everyone's got to love each other. It's not I'm right, you're wrong. No. Integrative, functional, whatever you want to call it, right? It goes through names. Integrative medicine, functional medicine. It's about combining the best of Western, the best of Eastern, the best of the human spirit, everything that you talk about in Thrive State, the 7 modalities of Thrive State is the key. So everyone listening, you got to have both these books. It's Thrive State to break your burnout, and then love to just keep pouring on. Love is the strongest medicine, to keep pouring on the love, because the stories get you to that place of love.
That's beautiful. I love the fact that, our lives are in such parallel, from being burnt out as physicians to having our own patients be our best teachers. I had a very similar experience with a 43-year-old pancreatic cancer patient named Ishmael. We both actually use very similar analogies as to how our life got reawakened. We talk about, I talk about the reset button and defibrillator. And I've actually heard you use a acronym of how your patients taught you to use CPR. And I thought that was beautiful. You want to talk about CPR?
Yeah, CPR. Yeah, I needed to be shocked back into the world of the living. I was walking around as a zombie doctor. Hi, I'm typing. I'm not even looking at you. I'm just looking at the stupid EMR. Hello, Mrs. Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. I don't even know that what if you're a man or a woman, because I don't look at you. I was so zombied out. I needed to be shocked back into the world of the living and love. CPR for me became connection, presence, and resilience.
Yeah.
So the C is connection, and that's the bringing the love and listening and connecting on that soul level with your fellow colleagues and your patients. And that, when you connect, you can be present. So no longer, I will never bring a computer into an exam room again. After CPR, I never ever brought a computer. I will never have a computer between me and a patient again. I have a scribe, which is part of saving my soul. A scribe is great. They're typing while you're with the patient. And then resilience comes from connection and presence. True resilience is that when it fuels itself. It's that anti-fragile. Anti-fragile by Nassim Taleb talks about it's more than resilience. Resilience is, yeah, you can hang in there and you can make it. But true resilience is that when you add love to resilience, it becomes anti-fragile. It builds upon itself. And by going through the hard, you become stronger. By having gone through all that experience, now we're stronger than we were. It's beyond resilience. CPR, connection, presence, resilience. And you have it. You connect with everybody you're with. You're so present during your interviews, and you're resilient. You not only did you come out of your burnout, but you became a world-class longevity expert, anti-aging, concierge medicine. You're ripped. I still have to get rid of my last 5 pounds around my muffin top, but
Well, he get you on the program, brother.
I know. I still have a little way to go, but that's the resilience. That's the CPR.
That's beautiful. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you get a taste of who this physician is. He is all heart. He is all love. And, you could just see the nuggets that you're going to find in his book, Love is the Strongest Medicine, the fear over hate. Oh my God, was that gold? And then the CPR. You'll just find that, that throughout life, yes, you'll get sick. Yes, there might be stress out there, but the medicines aren't not necessarily the prescription ones or the chemo or whatever. It's really is love. So check out his book, Love is the Strongest Medicine. Now, before I ask my very last question for you, brother, and I might already know what the answer is, let me ask you, actually, I'm going to ask it a different way, but let me ask you this before we go. Where do people find out more about Dr. Steven Eisenberg?
drsteven.com is the website. Steven with a V.com. And I'm pretty active. My favorite thing is Instagram at Dr. Steven Eisenberg. So those are my two big things, but everything's on drsteven.com. You can listen to, I did an amazing show with our host today. And we go really deep into his origin story. So I encourage everyone to listen to that. But that's where you can find me, man. And the book's on anywhere you can get books. Love is the Strongest Medicine.
That's awesome. Definitely get the book. And Dr. Steven, I'm going to ask you right now, if your answer is love, you'll have to give me a second answer. But let me ask you, what has been your best medicine?
Love and laughter. Love and laughter. Yeah. Love. And I'm going to give you the second one, laughter, because I think nothing connects two human beings faster than laughter.
That's beautiful.
Laughing together.
And
we did a lot of that today.
We did a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Steven, thank you for the time. The book is Love is the Strongest Medicine. Look, I don't make many book recommendations. You guys need to get this one. Love is the Strongest Medicine. You can get them on Amazon or wherever books are sold. Dr. Steven, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me, Kien. Love you.
Love you. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're finding this podcast to be valuable, if you're learning a lot, please share with your friends and family members. And please consider leaving a 5-star review at ratethispodcast.com/ThriveState. That review is really going to help the show grow. And if you haven't already, pick up a copy of my book, Thrive State, at thrivestatebook.com. I would love to connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn at KienVuMD. Remember, you are your best medicine.